Welcome back to the Beonby Show. This is episode 9, and we're welcoming Brady back for the time. Yeah, how's it going, Brady?
It's wonderful, Ben. It's going great.
I like how enthusiastic you are in every single podcast.
I think I say it's going great every time.
But is it actually going great?
Well, Ben, you can't expect me to, when somebody asks you, how's it going, you can't say, it's going terribly, because,
Well, that's part of being a human being is expressing your feelings.
Well, you can't. Fine,
anyway, so we're going to transition very smoothly into the topic of today's podcast, which is educational experiences part 2. Not elementary, this is in middle school, but we don't have a word that starts with E that we can represent for middle school. We'll think of that later when we title it. So
No, we'll just call it educational experiences, junior high, or middle school.
Yeah. So
So middle school is grades 6, 7, and 8.
Yeah, where we live. And so as a recording, we have not completed middle school, but we still have definitely had some experiences within the school that we'll be sharing with you today.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to start with 6th grade.
So this is when Ben really had an epiphany, and he decided to comply with the rules of school. He became not so much of like a rule-breaking, self-proclaimed rebel.
Not self-proclaimed.
It was definitely self-proclaimed.
It was not self-proclaimed. It was evident. Anyway.
We self-proclaimed.
So what were you...
So basically, you were compliant with the rules and you were a good kid. So, any experiences from 6th grade?
Yes, there was this one that I don't remember. What did you do in 6th grade?
I literally did not.
I don't think anything really happened in 6th grade. I think probably the thing that I remember most was asking the janitor to help me open my locker on the first day. And there was also, I asked this 8th grader where the Spanish room was. And he was like, fuck you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, nothing really happened in 6th grade. What did happen in 6th grade? We went to...
Feed My Starving Children. We went to Feed My Starving Children.
Yeah. And we also took a field trip to the capital of our state that is not going to be... it's disclosed information. It's confidential. Because when Beonby becomes a famous person...
Well, I kind of already am.
Wishful thinking, Ben. When/if/ever
Definitely not.
You become a famous person, people don't know where you live.
Okay.
Anyway.
So I remember... No.
Okay.
So I remember Feed My Starving Children was great. I had a very enjoyable time there. It was very good. But 6th grade overall was just like adjusting to middle school.
Yeah, it wasn't
because the elementary school, they had some faults, I will admit, in preparing us, or lack thereof, for middle school. Because at the end of 5th grade, we still had to walk in lines to classes. And we still had the freaking line leader. Do you remember the line leader?
Yeah, the line leader. That was funny. I loved being the line leader.
You just stood there and you're like, look at me, I have status now. And I have feelings of power.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, in 6th grade, it was basically just me failing math class. I got a B- in that class.
Sorry, what's a B-? I only know 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Oh, yeah, so basically our school does a standard grading system where...
SBR. Yeah, in 6th grade, we had like a hybrid of
A's and then in 7th and 8th grade, we switched. So basically, it's like you're assessed on these standards, and you get a 1, which is... Introduced,
but
2,
you suck at it.
Yeah, 1 is like fail. 2 is beginning, which is basically like fail. 3 is like approaching, which is like, that's fine. 3s are good. Yeah. And then 4 is mastery, which is like an A+, which is...
Yeah, the differences between a 2 and 3 are just astronomical.
I know.
If you get a 2, then you considered you failed.
And then if you get a 3, you're like,
then you're like, yeah, I did pretty good job.
Yeah, like 3s and 4s are what? like that. That's what people strive for, but it's not like an A.
They don't have any equivalent.
And it's kind of hard getting used to because it's like a 4 is like 75 to 100%, and a 3 is 50 to 75%. No, it's not like that. It's like a 4 is you know it, and a 3 is you kind of know it.
You pretty much know it, and a 2 is you don't really know it. Like, the difference is between not really knowing it and knowing pretty much all of it is big. It shouldn't be just within one number.
So basically, everybody got mad that there was a standard grading system.
And then they're going back to the hybrid next year.
Nobody knew what it was, and then now we're going back to the hybrid.
Next year, when we won't exist there anymore.
Yeah. What about 7th grade?
We're not there yet.
Oh, fine. Okay, well, what else happened in 6th grade?
Well, it was just... I call it the adjusting year of middle school because the elementary school did such a bad job preparing us that we had to just figure it out for ourselves. Yeah. And luckily for me, I'm such a good student that I automatically adjusted and I learned how to manage my time and everything.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I do remember for math class, our teacher was on maternity leave for about 90% of the year. So we had Mrs. RK, SRK, and we learned a strategy in that class for doing fractions, which I think is pretty stupid. It's called the giant 1.
Oh my god!
I won't explain it, but it's basically stupid. And so me and my friend, can I say his name? I'll call him S. So me and my friend S, we have still a long running joke of, a long running joke of being like, because this. Anyway, so it sounds like a drug almost.
The giant
1. Sorry for that interruption, by the way.
You can just edit it out then.
I can't.
You can't?
No, I can't. I'm recording directly from Anchor, which is a great website because this episode is sponsored by Anchor. Anyway.
So for anybody that wants to create a podcast and
do it, please.
And you don't want it to create a website for it and everything, you can just go to Anchor and start recording and then upload it to Spotify.
Yeah, this is how you get there. You go to Anchor, anchor.fm/Ben, BEN894/support. And then you just click $9.99 per month, put in your credit card details, and then boom, you made a podcast.
So Anchor is a great website. Thank you.
Yeah, they've already heard the ad. Anyway, so what were we talking about? Yeah, Giant 1. So me and him still have that long running joke because Giant 1 kind of sounds like a drug.
No, it doesn't, Ben. So anyway.
Yes, it does.
Math was hard. It was difficult because 5th grade and 4th grade and 3rd grade, there were nothing like what normal math was. And so 7th grade.
No. Because in 4th and 5th grade, we got like max 1 to 2 math worksheets per week, and everything was easy except for the last problem on each worksheet which was the challenge problem.
And it's like, what's 4
times 4
times 3
oh
times 0?
Oh.
I know, it's like
in that order.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. If you multiply anything by 0, Ben, it's 0.
Yeah, I know. I know. Anyway.
So Ben. This is why he becomes a rapper.
Because I'm stupid.
Yeah. I mean, you do need math for rapping.
No.
You need to count the beats. 1, 2, 4, 2, 3, 5, 6, 4.
Okay, that worked.
Anyway,
we're gonna keep going. So
thank you for our sponsor.
Anyway, so that was pretty much 6th grade. I just call it the adjusting year because nothing really happened in there. 7th grade, if we're gonna continue now.
So
7th grade is where things got very, very interesting.
He kind of let go of his.
Wait, by the way, before we transition, I should ask: do you have any stories from 6th grade?
No.
All right, so moving on.
Wait.
Oh.
Wait.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
I did win the GOB.
You did, yeah. And yeah, we can talk about that. The GOB, how did
So
you
basically,
win?
so the GOB is like everybody for one social studies class period. Everybody in the school participates in
Geography.
geography questions where they're answered. Like everybody gets answered like 7 questions, and whoever gets the most questions right moves on. And there's
Semifinals.
4 people per grade. There's like 14 people. There's 2 people from each class that move into the grade finals, and there are 4 people per grade that go to like the school finals. So there are
and they sit in front of the entire school in the gym and they battle it out.
There are 12 people in the whole school that battle it out in front of everybody. It's kind of nerve-wracking. And I'm like, oh well, I'm good at geography. I think I should do this. Like I should try with this. And yeah, so I won the
6th grade.
Sixth grade. So I won my class, and then it was funny. So we were in the grade finals, and I lost. And then so like that day, I'm like, oh, I'm sad. And then they called me back because everybody else lost, so everybody else got their questions wrong. And then there was this one question. It was like, Fargo is like a farm in what state that borders Minnesota? And I'm like, South Dakota, because yeah. And yeah, and then I got in the finals, and then I studied a little bit, and then I won. That was great, and nobody expected it because I was a 6th grader.
As you can tell, Brady is not the most interesting person, but we just
I know my geography.
Anyway,
Ben?
Yeah.
Do you know what the longest river in Australia is?
All right, so we're gonna move on to 7th grade now.
There we go.
So 7th grade was a very interesting.
7th
grade was a very interesting year because I met this teacher.
Summary. Ben lost all of his good student. He kind of reverted back to his
not entirely.
You have to
understand the context of
not
what
entirely,
happened.
But he kind of reverted back to 5th grade days.
Not really. A little bit. No, a little bit. So I met this teacher. She was my advisory teacher and my LA teacher.
She was.
Yeah. Her name, I can't say it, but Mrs. Mick.
Mrs. M.
MC. Her name was Mrs. Mick, but that's not her full name. But I appreciate confidentiality.
If you're watching,
if you're listening to this, I don't really like you.
Well, if you're watching this, I apologize in advance for all of the harsh comments that Ben says.
All of which are true.
Following.
Brady was in my class. He knows.
You were a good LA teacher. Thank you for your time.
No, you were. No, she was not. Anyway, so this woman, I don't think she liked me too much.
From the start.
From the start. Because she's always very passive aggressive towards me. Like one time we were writing a poem, like an ode, like you write an ode to something like how much you love it. I wrote an ode to my head scratcher. And because no, those things are really good. And then on the day we were writing it, she was gone. And then we had this old lady's our substitute. She's Mrs. W. Yeah.
Wait.
So she wrote some very vague instructions on the board for how to do it. And Mrs. Mick hadn't given us any other instructions on how to do it. So I just followed the instructions of what was on the board. And then the next day, Mrs. Mick single-handedly, she singled me out. And she was like, why didn't you do it the way I told you to do it? And I wanted to say because you didn't. But the other part was me was like, I don't know. And so she started yelling at me, and I'm like, it's a poem about head scratching. Is it really that big?
What is there not to like about head scratchers?
I know.
So
and that wasn't it. The story I like to tell most about Mrs. Mick is that starting February, January, like late January, early February, throughout that entire month. So I don't know if any of you guys do this crazy concept, but I I go to the bathroom sometimes.
Yeah, this period is right after lunch, by the way.
Yeah, it's right after lunch. So you usually have some digestive things going on. So you need to go to the bathroom. And, Mrs. Mrs. Mick, she was understanding of this for, a good portion of the year. But then after winter break, I don't know what happened to her. Like, maybe she had some issues at home or something. I don't want to judge her too hard. But she kind of just changed her entire attitude about specifically me going to the bathroom.
I remember I think I was about to ask her a question too, because I was standing right there, and what she said is...
No, wait, we'll get to it.
Okay.
I have to explain the context first. So, around late January, early February, she just became so hesitant and reluctant to let me go to the freaking bathroom that one week she just didn't let me go at all. And I had to wait till the end of the class, and I nearly pissed myself 4 times. It was traumatic, I'm not going to lie.
For the first time, she's like, Ben, you go to the bathroom every day. Like, I don't think I can let you go to the bathroom today because I don't know what you're doing in there. You
I
just go to the bathroom.
I just want to say, Mrs. Mick, I'm taking a pee. Can I go now?
I think she thought he was like vaping in the
I know.
something.
I thought she was gonna be like, open your pockets, let me see what's in there.
I know.
And the thing is, I wasn't gone for an unreasonable amount of time. I was gone for 2 minutes. I went, I peed, I washed my hands, I came back.
And it was so funny. She's like, okay, I'll let you go today, but if you go today,
you can't go tomorrow.
You can't go tomorrow.
And I'm like, that's some good logic, Mrs. Mick. I'm gonna go tomorrow whether you say I can or not.
And then I'm like, I almost walked up to her and said, that's like the same logic as saying, oh no, you had your birthday last year. You cannot have it this year. That is just not okay. And I was about to walk up to her and say that. And then I'm just like, Ben, go to the bathroom. And then you never went to the bathroom.
And I nearly pissed myself. And it was traumatic. The funniest part about this entire thing is that my father wrote an email to her. And it is probably the funniest email I've ever seen in my entire life. Because he was like, Dear Miss Nicholas, I want to inquire...
Mrs. Mick. Mrs. Mick.
Mrs. Mick. That's a pseudonym. It's not her actual name.
Ben had a seizure.
Oh God! I hope we don't get sued. It's not her actual. It's not her actual name.
His mouth moved in very unpredictable ways.
That's not her actual name. Don't worry about that. Anyway, we can't say it.
But it's
Mrs. Mick. He wrote a letter to Mrs. Mick. It's
an Irish name, so there's a lot of different endings to Mick.
Anyway, so he wrote a letter to Miss Mick, and he was like, I wanted to inquire about the bathroom situation, as my son has told me lots about it. And then she was like, hi, so I let Ben go to the bathroom one day, so I figured obviously he couldn't go the next day. That was pretty much her email. And then he responded back with the most hilarious thing I've ever seen. It was like, Dear Miss Nicholas.
Mrs. Mick!
No, I did it again. I don't know why. Mrs. Nicholas was a different person I knew. It's not her.
It's Mrs.
I'll just say Mrs. M from now on.
Mrs.
He's like, Dear Mrs. M. So, I also frequently use the bathroom. And this is a very interesting issue. Because he was trying to just, as calmly as possible, say, just let him go to the freaking bathroom. But he was saying it very calm. He was like, I also personally go to the bathroom many times a day. Do you as well? Do you go to the bathroom? and he was like, I drink green tea and I go to the bathroom at night. And if I was not allowed to do that, that would be very bad. And so it was just...
Wait, did she let you go to the bathroom after this?
It was... I think she kind of let off, like very slowly, like in April. Then she was like, yeah, you can go to whatever. I don't care about you anymore.
But I don't know. I think... She was like mad at any of the boys in the class.
Yeah, I know, but
like
there was this girl named Kay who went to the bathroom every single day, and she was always like, "Yeah, sure, go, do whatever you need to do." And she was always gone for like 10 minutes, and nothing ever happened to her.
I know, but we always sat in the back at the back table, like working on whatever LA stuff we worked on, and we would like be like quiet, and then like. Once out of the whole like class period, we'd like ask each other a question about what we were doing. She'd be like, "I'm gonna ask you to leave."
yeah.
I'm gonna ask you to split up. You guys are not doing it. And then here, And then
I remember that because it happened so many times.
And then here, there are like 17 girls and like one singular boy on the carpet, and they're like having like a full blown conversation about their weekend and how good their like home is. I don't know, hydro flask. And she's like, boys in the back.
And she always sat in the front of the class as well. She always sat right next to these people who were having the conversation. And she never did anything about it.
I'd ask Ben, like, where do you put a comma? And she'd be like, Ben and Brady, please split up.
This is not working anymore. And the funniest part about it, like, this is kind of sad as well. She intentionally gave me, like, worse grades than what I deserve for a lot of things.
I know,
like,
she gave terrible grades.
She gave me 3s on so many things that I deserved 4s on because, like, for this one thing, we were writing a narrative, and I had all the points I needed to get a 4. And then there was this one thing that you could have done optionally, and that could have also, like, secured your grade, and I didn't do it because it wouldn't have fit my story. It would have made my story worse, and would have probably made my grade even worse. And she was like, I gave you a 3 because I don't feel you've mastered this. And I'm like, okay. I couldn't argue with her. I tried to dispute it with her multiple times, but she was like, listen, no.
I know, but she'd get mad at us over the smallest of things. Like, one day there was a sub. It was like every day there was a sub, pretty much. And like on the sub, it was like, watch out for these kids. And a list of all of us who sat in the back, and I'm like,
me, Brady, and some other
we
kids
all work like the most efficiently in the class. Like, we all get our work done and stuff, and she still doesn't. Like, she definitely had something against us, and I don't know what it was.
Yeah,
but overall she was a good teacher.
Overall, she was a good teacher.
Yeah, she taught me some good grammar stuff. Mm-hmm.
That you probably forgot.
Yeah.
Anyway,
but Mrs. Mick, thank you for your service.
No, Mrs. Mick, I want to thank you for teaching me how bad some teachers can be. I genuinely thank her for that.
Okay,
let's move on to 8th grade, because that was pretty much the only thing that happened in 7th grade.
For this diss.
I'll make a diss track on her.
That would actually be kind of funny.
All right, let's move on to 8th grade.
8th grade. So 8th grade. Oh dear. Okay.
I can name a story that happened yesterday.
What?
The rock paper scissors competition for the entire school. That was an interesting thing because one of my friends won it. They decided they were gonna do a rock paper scissors competition for the entire school, and then one of my friends ended up winning, and he's kind of a god. And we discovered this trick that if you say I like your pants, I really like your pants. It does. I tried on like 3 different people. It worked every time.
Well, I've done it like several times.
No, not with you.
But
so basically, this trick is if you say I really like your pants and then say rock paper scissors, they always choose scissors. Always.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
It works. Trust me, it's a psychological trick.
It doesn't work. So anyway, let's talk about the lunch program.
The lunch program.
So basically, I don't know.
Can I say the name of the company?
Yes, Quest Food Services.
Quest Food Management, you are absolute trash. Let me say something. I met with the student council.
No. We're going to start from the beginning.
We have 7 minutes until it stops recording, so it's better make
Okay. So basically, so 6th and 7th grade, we had this great
fabulous lunch
program.
Pizza Monday.
You could use
pasta Tuesday, chicken tender Wednesday.
Lunch, yada yada yada. And then all these different local restaurants,
really good places,
would have a day. So like Mondays would be pizza, Tuesdays would be hamburgers, Thursdays.
No. Tuesdays was pasta. Wednesdays was hamburgers.
And like Fridays would be like Subway and stuff. And it was great, and everybody loved it. And the cookies. There were frozen cookies.
Were there for 30 years.
Yeah, and then 8th grade comes around, and for an unknown reason, the school board decides to get rid of it. Every kid loved it, and now they do this thing called Quest Food Management Services.
We're shouting you out. We say you suck.
You suck. You suck. So basically, the first day, they decided, why don't we let everybody have mac and cheese? It's free.
On the house.
It was hard
Cold, crunchy.
Stale, cold, crunchy, and it tasted like cardboard. And not only that, only about a quarter of the grade got any.
Before they ran out.
Maybe like a what? Like a phone, like an iPhone-sized portion of mac and cheese.
Yeah.
And they ran out, and everybody's just like, sorry, you can't have any. So that was the start of it. And the food is nasty.
Terrible.
It's literally cooked, oven baked. Like I literally think it's like frozen and put in the oven and brought over from the high school, because our middle school doesn't have kitchens, and by that time it's cold and hard and gross
and disgusting and terrible.
And then they serve it, and then they charge everybody $5 for like meat. Okay, so one time it was stuffed crust pizza, and it was
worse than Lunchables, if you can imagine.
A tortilla the size of an iPhone, but like circular,
iPhone 4S.
Yeah, with 2 pieces of pepperoni, maybe a spoonful of tomato sauce and some cheese for $5. 2 of those.
And let me just say that lunch this year is more expensive than last year, and it's less food that tastes.
Oh, by far,
worse.
It's like a quarter of the food that we used to get, and it's just so annoying. And now we're
and so on December 16th of 2019, that's right, last decade, I met with the student council and some Quest officials to talk about their program and see if we had any suggestions. And by golly, we had suggestions. I kind of carried the entire conversation. It was just me and this woman talking for the entire portion. She was making up excuses and just not taking the credit for something they did badly on their part. They took credit for one thing only, and that was so terrible. Like, I was showing them their 2.7 out of 5-star reviews on Google, and she was like, I don't really understand what that means. I'm not really a tech-savvy person. It's like, it's not a fucking difficult concept to understand. 2.7 out of 5 stars, I'm pretty sure that's 54%. 54%. That means you failed. It literally means you failed. That's an F. Minus. That's an F minus.
If you go on their website, the food looks so good. It's like gourmet, fresh food.
Yeah.
And then when you talk to her about it, didn't she say, well, that's what it looks like when it comes out of the oven?
And I'm like, no, it does not.
Yeah. So basically, we've kind of been like.
And do you want to hear something?
With the school board.
Yeah. I talked to Mr. Blackmer.
Mr.
No, God, no.
Mr. B.
Mr. B. Mr. B.
His name is Mr. Black Marathon.
You're making it worse. Oh, I might actually be in some trouble now. It's okay.
We have to delete
Mr. B.
episode.
No, it's okay.
Restart, Ben.
No, we don't.
Yeah,
it's okay.
We made too many mistakes.
It's fine. Mr. B. So I talked to our principal, Mr. B, and we discussed it. And that manager at Quest, she ended up leaving. She left.
She did?
She left.
Ben, you hurt her feelings too hard.
I know. I was thinking that. And what does that say about the company?
I know. The food is so bad. Like, the kids call it prison food.
Because it kind of is.
Yeah, it's like slimy and flavorless and too small.
Too small.
So anyway, what else happened?
I mean, we have 1 minute and 40 seconds left, so we're gonna go ahead and wrap that up there. I hope you enjoy the final episode of not middle school, educational experiences. Not academy anecdotes, not school stories, not anything else. But yeah, we're gonna end this episode with that.
Sorry.
Okay, yeah, Brady, thank you. That was a very appropriate thing. So thank you for listening to this podcast. We hope you enjoy. Please take the time to support me, $9.99 a month. Thank you to Anchor for sponsoring this podcast. It's a great website. Listen to my music. Go to my YouTube channel. Watch all my videos. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Peace out.
Brady, do you have anything left to say?
Middle school's great.
Middle school is great. I have enjoyed my experience thoroughly.
Despite being starved.
We still have a couple of months here, but
yeah, what is it?
We'll make it.
February? Is it February?
It's January 31st.
Oh, tomorrow's February.
All right, so thank you for listening. We hope you enjoyed, and we will see you in the next podcast. Good night and peace out. Bye.